We have a pump set up that we pump the ditch 2, 3, 4 times a day. It'll pump that amount of water out there in just maybe 30 minutes. We'll come back after 2 or 3 hours and let some of the field water flow to it and pump more out. That's about the best thing we can do to try to get water out of the field. Without the heat and the sun and the wind cooperating, that's our last effort. We got the Cumberland River over here with a flapper system to our drain pipe. You can see our ditches over here, 2 or 3 foot lower. We're trying to drain 1.5 miles of fields through a pipe into a river that's already 2 to 3 feet higher than the ditches. We have a timeline on our growing season on our row crops. Our corn and milo need about 90 to 100 days. We've just about passed that deadline, so we'll have to change over to millet at this point. We try to plant about 170 or 80 acres of crop. 130 of that will be row crop, and then we have so many shallow areas that we'll finish out maybe 30, 40, 50 acres in Jap millet where it's accessible to the ducks. We try to break the soil open as soon as possible and give it as much drying time as possible. And instead of a 1/2 inch of rain drowning our crop out, if it's had a lot of drying time, we might can handle 1 inch of rain before it starts pooling up. It gives us a little more surge protection. This year we haven't been able to get any of that. We planted this, it was very wet when we planted it, so it took very small amount of rain to start it pooling on top of the soil. No-till, we've done a few experiments here, and the fact this ground is core floodplain and then we flood it, you tend to you get a crust. So you've got that water table under the crust. Until you break it, you're not releasing that water to where you have some surge. And not only does the crust hold the water in, but when you get a big rain, it goes back to being a pond and it stands on top of it. So no-till is just increasing that gamble of the crop drowning out. It's soupy, it's like a sponge right now. Really, the corn can't handle much water at all. The duration of time that it's going to be sitting on it, we'll be very fortunate we have much corn in that particular area. In several other areas it's standing like that. We've not had a major flood from the river, it's just been slightly high, and then we've just had consistent rains come through. What little drying we get gets put in check in just a few days with another storm. We've got until about the first week of August to plant millet. So we'll start here in about another week, we'll start putting out millet. It takes 60 days to germinate. And you can put that out any number of ways. You don't have to work up the soil. You can put it out with a 4-wheeler and a seed spreader on top of the ground if you have to, if it's too muddy.